Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Darick and Logan.
Welcome to episode 205 of Internet of the 90s. Also known as Flesh and Pod. My name is Logan. I'm your host. With me always is Charmer. Please like and subscribe on YouTube because you motherfuckers haven't. And yeah, we just spent like a solid 20 minutes talking about all of the awful websites from the 90s that existed. And now we're going to rehash that entire conversation.
Oh, we're going to run it back.
We're doing it. Yeet.com didn't exist yet.
No, it did not.
However, we had some good ones like rotten.com. And that one was god awful. Everybody knows the legend of like Two Girls, One Cup.
One Man, One Jar.
Yeah, Meat Spin, Lemon Party. Everybody knows those, I hope.
Whitehouse.com.
Whitehouse.com. Oh my God.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that one.
Back before people knew what firewalls were. Holy shit. Yeah. So, in computer class in 1995 or 6, they were trying to show my teacher was trying to show me show the class on like the screen that she had, the larger screen she had, websites that the government is getting into now and stuff like that, and she put in whitehouse.com and hit enter. Lordy, was that a regret? Turns out it's whitehouse.gov if you're looking to get to, although that is more of a parody site now than whitehouse.com ever was. But it was to call it not safe for work would be a monstrous understatement. I'm pretty sure there's shit on that website that was felonious now.
Yeah, it was the perfect prank when you wanted to get your friend in trouble in like middle school and high school.
100%.
Because you would just tell them, hey man, just go
to whitehouse.com.
Just go there.
Yeah.
Just go to whitehouse.com.
Nothing bad
for your book report.
Yeah, nothing bad's going to happen.
Nothing bad.
Nope. And then there's the classics like what were some of the other ones we were talking about? Ogrish. Jesus Christ. People should not have been allowed to have internet. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed now. Back then, probably worse in some ways. They just what was the one where chat roulette?
Yeah.
My.
That was Omegle before there was Omegle.
Let's discuss. So let's talk really quick. We'll get to Flesh and Blood, I promise. Chat roulette concept. So you entered into a chat room with like 8 other people. So 3x3 grid of people on cameras or really like early webcam awful. Like, so pixelated, god awful.
Yeah.
No resolution. But also no controls. So you were 1000% looking at dick the entire time. It was always there.
Always there.
And so there was, I mean, man.
Like, it did not take long for, at least within my circle, people would just refer to it as dick roulette.
Yep. And that eventually gave way to Meat Spin, which is exactly what it sounds like. There was also things like hotornot.com, which literally you went through pictures and clicked hot or not and rated people. This was a website.
Yep.
This was okay.
This is actually, I think, what inspired the Facebook.
I mean, it probably actually is. MySpace combined with.
Combined with. But like the idea of like the original, the Facebook was for rating folks on campus.
Yeah, it was for college kids. I remember when we had so many chat things that we we amalgamated them into a thing called ICQ. Or no, that wasn't it. What was the thing that, because ICQ was one of the chat bots, or chat programs. It was ICQ, AOL Instant Messenger, and one other one.
There was an MSN Messenger too.
Yeah. But there was something that that was an aggregator for those.
Well, yeah, it eventually became Pigeon, but I'm trying to remember what it was before Pigeon.
Chat Messenger aggregator 90s. Chat app aggregator 90s. Game was the original. Game and net meeting, but that's not what it was. There was also Google Hangouts. I remember that shit.
Oh yeah, I actually loved Hangouts, and I loved Wave.
Wave was good. Oh no, so it was ICQ. Okay, so because ICQ had its own and had its own chat app, but also aggregated others. Because that was the one that gave you the sound. Oh yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, see, I just remembered the Pigeon one because it would do the little like whistle.
Yep,
it was like a pigeon whistle.
Yeah. But anyway, this is actually a Flesh and Blood show, but we were in the middle of just doing some 40-year-old men nostalgia.
You know what you used to have to do in the Flesh and Blood was put VHS tapes in so you could watch Faces of Death.
Yeah. The third one, still the best one. Don't think that there's any competition there. Because that's the one with the guy that walks off the wall, if I remember right. Any rate. Don't go watch Faces of Death, by the way. Just don't.
No, don't.
Just don't.
Just don't.
Please don't. But yeah, welcome to episode 205 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Logan. I'm your host. With me, as always, is the man who took down Talishar, Darick Oswald. I'm blaming you.
That's fine. I put it in my...
You put it as your name.
I put it in my username so that you could blame me. I'm fine with being the scapegoat. I'll fall on that sword for the community.
Yep. So yeah, Jotrick and who's the other admin that does all the Talishar stuff? Oot, the monk, Nate, have been on it all day long trying to get their shit together. It's been rough for them today, but you got to remember these are people doing God's work for free in reality. So they deserve all the grace in the world for putting this together in the first place. So thank you both from the bottom of our hearts for everything you do. And at the same time, take as long as you need to fix it. We'll all live. Like, this isn't life or death. But it is nice to have Talishar running when possible. We like what you do. Which reminds me, if you like what they do, you should probably be throwing them money on their Patreon. Just going to put that out there. It was kind of a busy week in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Honestly, we had ProQuest Yokohama Season 5, where Syndra was the deck of the week with 11 wins. There was no other hero above 10, so it's starting to flatten out that next tier a little bit. Verdant's had 8, and then there are 3 heroes sitting at 5. But the good news is Kano is at 980 living legend points. That is 5 wins away from our nightmare being over. From all of the cold foil and promo null rune cards tanking in value.
No, I don't think that's going to be a thing. Personally,
we can all hope.
I wish I could join you on that bandwagon, but let's be honest. We've seen ProQuest season, right? Basically, the number 2 deck right now is Verdant's. So
yeah, I know, but we can dare to dream. But listen to anybody; they'll tell you that Stormstriders was a mistake. So 980,
and by anybody, we mean anybody on this podcast.
Yeah, anybody on this podcast. Anywho, the same heroes as last week. Bravo, Zuri, Bolton, Tekla, Olympia, Lyeth, and Tough Nut still have not put up any points in Super Slam season. Not great.
Which feels weird because I swear I saw a post from Josh Lau about getting points with Olympia.
No, Josh posted that he won one with Hatchet's Kasai, which gate kept him from going and getting points on Olympia.
Okay, I swear I thought I remembered there also being the Olympia one, but
no, he Olympia'd last season and got points on Olympia. At least I believe, double checking, because we have the tools. We might as well take a look.
we have the technology.
We do. We have the tools. We have the talent. It's Milla
We
time.
can make him faster, Lauer, Josher.
Yeah, more Joshy. Yes. So that was last season. Where before the ProQuest win and you are retired for the season, he'd always go win one and then suit up Olympia. So credit to Josh Lau. Jesus. There were also 6 Living Legend ProQuests. Chain won none of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of not surprised by that because of the change to Dirge.
Yeah. Starvo won 2, Viscerai won 2, Zen won 1, and Dash won 1.
I do I do want to say I totally think that Chain can still compete. I just don't think that it is I don't think that the deck is in the same tier as it once was. I think that it's a tier lower. Like I think it can compete, but if anything, I think it's more close to Starvo, maybe like just below where Starvo is, because Starvo is kind of like on that bubble for quite a bit.
Yeah. But I think the Dirge ban hurt it quite a bit. So Chain wins 0. And we're going to get back to Chain here in a minute. But there was also the calling Sydney, where your top 8 was 5. It was won by Gordon Co. on Syndra. The top 8 was 5 Syndras, 2 Verdants, and a Prism. Don't love that. But
Syndra goes burr.
Numbers are good in that deck. It's hard to beat good numbers. But it's also easy to beat Syndra if that's the only thing you want to beat.
I mean, yes, but then the problem is your matchups are bad against everything else.
Literally
right?
everything else. Yep.
And the deck, it's so funny. Like, I understand that's entirely the point of bans and whatever, but they really did shape the meta, because the decks that could potentially do well into other decks, but also were good into Syndra, were the assassins, right? And so when you took away bonds, that's the result.
Well, if you look, so Syndra, and this was pointed out by Clark J in our Discord. If you look at Syndra today, she would have it, and it was you had their living legend points weren't half,
no modifiers.
No modifiers. Yeah. She would have 1,146 points right now, and she's never caught a ban on anything. Everything in her kit has been legal the entire time. That doesn't tell the whole story necessarily, because Verdance, is up there too, but a lot of Verdance's points have come this season, and this is the season where Verdance got to 1x, was in September. So sure. But you kind of look into, as an example, Gravy Bones would be at 502. Marionette would be 404. Slippy would be 350. She's by far and away way ahead of that field.
And that's just counting the points, not even counting like the market share of top 8s she's had, especially the last like 3 weeks.
Right. So, and she was okay in the Aurora meta, but as soon as Aurora was gone, she got her chance to shine and became the best aggro deck by miles pretty quickly. And it's hard to beat, honestly.
Yeah.
You have to play real tight against the deck, no matter what you're doing, because allowing too much damage or not getting, max value out of your cards, you lose. The deck is ultra punishing.
Yeah.
And again, it has never caught a single ban. Nothing has ever been taken out of that deck's kit since it's been legal. So while there are obviously complaints about Gravy Bones, and I'm not saying they're right, wrong, or indifferent. Same story with Verdance. Syndra's just been the model of consistency. And
I mean, that's really the power of the deck, is that it's just the most consistent at doing what it wants to do, and what it wants to do is put up numbers, which is great when that helps you win the game, right? Like,
that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do
to win the game. So
yeah, we're not talking about practice.
There was also a Green Tree sports cards 10K, our friends in Green Tree in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
That top 8 was 3 Verdants, 2 Dash, 1 KO Armed and Dangerous, and a Marionette and a Syndra, and then the Syndra won it.
Yep.
I didn't see anything that said Prism on there, so yeah, sure. So I think that Syndra's is probably just right now the de facto best deck in CC. Sure. But I'm also of the opinion that that's okay. I'm not upset with Syndra being the best deck.
I'm not upset with it, just because if there's a deck that you want to be your baseline and you want to figure out how to tune around it, it's probably one of the easier ones, just because it's numbers.
Right.
So, we'll take that Bonds ban that I was just talking about, for example, right? Bonds represented damage, but it also represented disruption. And then you have to figure out what's the average value of the disruption, and how does that average value fluctuate depending on your matchups, right? Syndra's, you don't have to do any of that.
No.
It's just numbers.
No. It's I strip 2 cards. Great. That's, on average 6 to 8 damage depending. We did it. So your bonds were worth 24 or whatever. Which was plenty to tilt that matchup, believe me. Having played that matchup several times, it fucking sucked when the bonds turn hit, because you looked at your hand of all these block 2s and you're like, I'm at block 8 because, or block at 9 because I'm going to lose my fucking hand anyway. So here's all of it. And they're like, okay, cool. Arsenal pass. Yeah, right. Awesome. So yeah, the damned if you do, damned if you don't nature of bonds really just hurt the deck. And some fucking psychos would even go so far as to play like Defang the Dragon or whatever the Syndra hate card was, just for extra shove it in, right? Just twist the fucking knife.
I mean, it's a good time to do it.
It is. And right now is a good time to do it, honestly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
drag it out. Like, let's go. Let's ruin their day. And then also things like Erase Face that does hurt Syndra. It doesn't necessarily end their game, but it does hurt Syndra. Because if they have fealty tokens, they can still do enough, but it makes their turns harder to navigate. And they're not necessarily happy having to block out an Erase Face. Things like even I wouldn't want to try Sensors out, But if you can get a soul read on them, Censor's great.
Love Censor.
Who doesn't love Censor? Right to Censor was the best faction WWE ever had.
I still think that it would, like, a revival of that would do very well
these days. Yeah, it probably would.
Yeah.
Who would you put in Right to Censor right now?
Honestly, I thought that's what they were going to do with Zoe Stark before she got hurt.
Kind of,
what she was doing on socials.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, who are you putting in Right to Censor?
I mean, I think that's tough.
Dominic Mysterio.
No, you can't. No,
absolutely.
No.
Like, nuclear X-Pac heat him up again. And see if he comes around the corner.
I like what he's doing too much to force him into something else. It's got to be somebody that like could benefit from it. Honestly, you want to know who I think would be like great to adopt the gimmick, even if they don't have to call themselves Right to Censor, but they could start doing it. New Day and Grayson Waller.
New Day,
if they also started like coming in with the
suits
and the
sensors and the stickers.
I think they could pull it off really well.
I could see that. Okay, I'm in on that. Back to Flesh and Blood, because right now people are like, what the fuck are these people doing? There was also a Living Legend Battle Hardened in Sydney, won by Michael Fang on Viserai. Top 8, 3 Viserai, 2 Starvo, 1 Dromai, 1 Zen, 1 Aurora. Is Chain bad?
I still don't think Chain's bad. I think that it's just down a tier.
That's a pretty long ways down, though, now. Like, going from winning events and taking slices of the top 8 to no-show, like, that's bad.
Yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but thing is like, Chain's still going to chain.
It's true.
Like, at the end of the day, Chain's going to chain.
Chain will go chain. But
we're just so used to having 2 chains that.
But sometimes they'd fuck it up and have 3 chains. You don't want 3 chains.
No.
That's the wrong number of chains. It's 2 chains. Otherwise, that was basically the week that was for the Flesh and Blood tournament scene. And there wasn't a lot of. I mean, there was just the normal community uproar this week. I was expecting more nuclear hot takes this week than we saw.
Honestly, yeah. The response to the Living Legend stuff and Worlds and whatever, maybe it's just because everybody's in that stage where they're all head down preparing for it, right? We're kind of in the home stretch, because I think most people, granted, everybody will hear stories of like last minute deck swaps, right? Sure. Like, it happens but for the most part, I would argue that I think a lot of players are kind of hoping to have their decks locked in the week before so that they can potentially show up early, test with their teammates, do all of that. You kind of want to already have everything. And then, maybe you're just trying to fine tune sideboard or whatever, right? So to me, this is like the home stretch of deck selection. And maybe that's why, but we didn't really hear anything, which is good. Like, I don't think that there was much to be said either. I was in favor of it, but
about the only rumblings I was really hearing were that the Pleiades LL deck is real and dangerous, like scary good. 2, that people are playing default Syndra because it's the most known deck that wins. And since there's not a lot of innovation, it's a numbers deck. It's a deck you can play to good result and not have to, excuse me while I whip this out, the tech that you want to keep for Worlds. So I've heard a lot of that. And I've heard a lot of talk about Riftbound but that's about it. I mean,
I'm surprised that you've heard talk about Riftbound. Or is that just like people like trying to prep for like SCG or the Houston Regional, or just because it was release weekend?
It's picking up a little bit locally. We've had some people that are sort of just like diving in a bit to get Riftbound going. League of Legends addicts,
Yeah, people like me.
Yeah,
I get it.
Right. I mean, I wasn't trying to point the gun, but
I mean, look, I know that I should be ashamed of it, but I'm not. And I will say this: Riftbound, I do enjoy the game. I'm very happy that the game is good. And I like that it is so different from Flesh and Blood. My concern is, as Flesh and Blood continues to grow and as it continues to make its mark on games, at some point we are going to get the attempted copycats, right? Like, it's inevitable.
Eventually.
The impacts that, Magic has had for the last 30 years is always present whenever you try out a new card game. You're always looking at it and you're going, okay, I understand which elements they pulled for Magic and then how they're trying to separate themselves. Right. Flesh and Blood, the reason that I fell in love with it was because it was so far away from not just Magic, but literally any other card game I'd really played at the time.
Yep.
And I just know inevitably at some point some folks are going to, within the realm of, what's acceptable in terms of copyright and trademark and whatever, but there will be a copycat at some point, right? So I'm just happy that when new games come out, they're not doing that, and that they're not just not doing that, but they're also just like different in their own right as well. Like, Riftbound is different enough from Flesh and Blood that I can enjoy them separately. And I now kind of have this almost perfect triangle of, Star Wars, Riftbound, and Flesh and Blood all do different things that I enjoy.
There's way more shared space between Riftbound and Star Wars than there is.
There is, and there kind of isn't. So one of the reasons that I'm actually the most excited for Riftbound is I think it is a phenomenal multiplayer game.
Sure.
I know that the focus is going to be on 1v1, but having played their 4-person free-for-all, and especially having played their 2v2 format is a ton of fun. And if they ever start doing competitive 2v2s, I will force feed you this game, Logan, because I want to play it with you. But like, the 2v2 is legitimately fun. So when I say like it's different, it's because it gives me not just mechanically, but just a different experience. Like, when I sit down to play Flesh and Blood, I know that like it's going to be a sweaty grind fest, and I'm okay with that because like I like that. But when I don't want that and I want to do something like whimsical, I can go play Star Wars. And when I want to do something goofy multiplayer, not that I don't like Twin Suns. Twin Suns is great for Star Wars. Sure. It's just hard to get that like going locally. But Riftbound looks like, if I'm being honest, it looks like it was designed first as a multiplayer, and then they figured out how to do 1v1 as opposed to the other way around.
I kind of get that
because the multiplayer modes just shine, and so that's why I'm excited, because I have the Flesh and Blood experience, which I still think is like the premier 1v1 game, like on the market right now. Period. Just full stop. And then I could see a world. Again, you got to get people to buy into the formats, just like anything. But if they really emphasize it, I could see Riftbound being like the first ever premier 2v2 TCG, because their 2v2 format is outstanding.
And I did buy a booster box and a Foundations box. I haven't opened them yet, but I did buy them mainly because I didn't really care for it as a 1v1 game. But I could definitely see where, as a multiplayer game, it's far more interesting. And that's kind of where the Foundation box, I was like, okay, then I can buy this thing and then flesh out decks better.
I'm shocked that you were able to get one, because the Proving Grounds boxes are like sold out everywhere here.
Oh, yeah.
I have not been able to get one.
I pre-ordered them. It's in my LGS.
I mean, I tried pre-ordering, but like because of allocations, like
sure.
every place here just got hit hard. Like I've gotten
I
plenty of
I
booster
still got
boxes.
this thing too. Hey.
I can't see it right now because your camera's being grainy.
It's the thing from Gen Con. I just never opened it.
Oh yeah, with the your decks
and the Ari or whatever in it, the promo card.
Yeah. This Ari, I got my care package from Riot in the mail today, and it came with some different art sleeves, but these are the Ari alt art sleeves.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, so apparently these things sell for a ton.
Well, you need to open it because if there's an overnumbered Ari in there, I need to have a discussion with you because I'm hunting for one.
But I have it. Wait a second. Would that have an overnumber in it?
I mean, overnumbereds are like 1 in 3 boxes, and then the signatures are like for every.
Oh, you mean open the booster box?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant this like package. That's the same card. I'm like, that's always the same one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that one's always the same one. That's the conventional one. The overnumbereds are like the alt art.
Yeah.
It's like their version of showcases, right? If you come from Star Wars. So
okay. I'll pop it when I get a chance to and let you know what I got. I'm actually helping a buddy. So I was playing D&D with my buddy, a couple of friends, and one guy DMs, and he DMs a crew from like his high school, right? I promise you this is a Flesh and Blood podcast, but just kind of not right now. And I'm
going to bring it back.
We're going to loop it back. Okay. And so he had this like whole plan out against me, and you've met all these people. So Matt was DMing the one. Yep. And then Steve and I and Dom were the people playing.
Yep. Okay.
And so Matt,
I met Steve at Gen Con as well, right?
Yep. We were all at dinner.
Okay.
Yep. Dom wasn't, but you met Dom outside of that.
Right. I know who Dom is, but I was just saying that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so Matt had this whole encounter planned out. And he was going to have this dragon come in and fuck shit up and leave. Right. And just kind of that was part of the story. And I looked at it and I went, we can actually kill this. I'm pretty sure. Steve, do this. I'm going to loop around here. We're going to do this. And Matt's like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay. We should be out of range. All right. So just burn it down now. And we killed the fucking thing. And Matt's just like, I quit. Like, I just can't. I'm like, oops. And so now he's building content for his other campaign. He's like, hey, I want to know if these encounters that I'm building are too easy or too hard. So I want you guys to come and like beta test this shit. And if you guys just skull it, I know that it's probably a little too easy. If I think it's too hard and then you guys beat the ever-loving shit out of it, it's like, okay, well, that's probably, that's probably needs to tune up a little bit. If you beat it, but it's a struggle, it's probably right. If it beats you, I need to tune it down. And it's like, okay, we'll be those assholes that, are trying to break your game. Fine by me. I've done it any number of times at this point. Did it with Alpha Clash. I do it for my work.
So to bring this back, I've got all of the 2024 D&D books. I say 2024 even though it's 2025 because obviously like that's when they did their update, right? For the anniversary. When are we going to run our D&D campaign set in the world of Wraith?
Oh, yeah, we need to start that.
We should do that, and then we should put it on the channel.
We should. We'll have to get a hold of Josh Scott because I know he was interested.
Right.
And he would be our rules person to help kind of not to write them, to fill in some of the flavor that we want at times.
Yeah, I think he could help with both flavor as well as like any needed house rules if people wanted to play.
Right.
Certain archetypes or whatever that aren't 100%, but I would still like him to be a character because
I want him to play a character.
Spends all day doing the rules that like he needs a break, man. Like let him be himself.
So what we'd have to do is like have somebody DMing, probably either you or me, and then we make Greg do it because he has like that voice.
I mean, so he has a great voice, obviously, but I feel like I could go either way. I feel like it would be a lot of a burden to put on Greg, but also, if I'm being entirely honest, I just want to see him flounder.
Why? Why?
Because like, I don't know why. I just have this mental image of like him being the kind of guy that plays a barbarian that rolls nat ones, and it makes me cackle. Just the mental image.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks. But that's funny though. I'm sorry, Greg. I don't mean for this to be hilarious to me, but this is really fucking funny. Okay, fine. So one of us will have to like bring somebody that has a lot of experience to DM, and we'll go from there. But we would basically just take applications for like slots, I guess, once we have it fleshed out. But I'll talk to Josh and Philly. Hopefully you can find a flight for that's reasonable so you can talk to Josh and Philly.
Yeah.
Because reasons, and also and Ejor for that matter.
I was gonna say, and honestly, Ejor and Heiner, because Heiner's coming, right?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
He keeps saying no, but I'm gonna keep saying
yes. And then our friend Steven, aka DM Armada, is doing a Silver Age event after the last sealed on Friday. So he's just putting it as a play anywhere, threw it out there to sign up. So it's like, all right. So I got Ejor to sign up for that. And I'm playing in the Silver Age thing because why not?
Wait, you're telling me I could play against Ejor?
Exactly.
Now I might need to alter my plans.
Yeah. It would be like Summer and Ian Holland and Ejor and Armada. Maybe Josh, who knows? Like an entire murderer's row of sickos that we want to play against.
Yeah, but I want to.
You want to lose to Ejor? Yeah, I get it. I do too, for that matter. I just want Ejor to beat my ass. I feel like that's something I'd pay extra for. But yeah, I guess that was the week in Flesh and Blood. We really do need to get that D&D thing going, though. Maybe we because of the way it's built, we should Daggerheart it and not D&D.
I mean, I already have the books for D&D, but
Daggerheart's really cool. Maybe we'll talk about it. It'll be fine. We do have some listener questions. We could probably do those. Some of these are going to take a while.
Okay. I don't think they will, but we can do it.
Oh, we can string it out. It's fine.
Okay.
We're supposed to have a guest tonight, but it turns out our guest's internet was such dog shit.
If you're wondering why this episode feels off, it's because we had completely other plans.
Scrapped the plan. We had to scrap our plans.
So, it's not just you who feels that way. It's us too. I promise.
But this isn't the first time that we've had to like,
and it won't be the last time.
No, it won't. That we just had to cobble shit together and make it work. It's kind of what we're best at. But on to listener questions. The first one is from the Delusian data analyst. It says, during 204, I think he means episode 204, Logan dropped an offhanded mention to Cube. Yes. It's always been my favorite format in Magic because you're a person of culture. Where can I find Fab Cube content? Easy. The Fab Cube, I believe it's .net. .com, sorry. Thefabcube.com, created by Loose Leaf T himself, Tyler Loose, allows you to build cubes, look at other people's cubes, do all kinds of shit.
Wait, I didn't know you could look at other people's cubes.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Oh, yeah.
Are you telling me if I go, I can look at your cubes and I don't have to pay for your OnlyFans?
No. You still have to, mine are set to private, sir. You do have to pay for the OnlyFans.
Show me your cubes.
Actually, it might actually be on here and not private anymore. God fucking damn it. Son of a whore. This best not be my cube.
Show me your cubes.
Woo, it's in Japanese, not my cube. But yeah, there's 14 pages of public cubes on here. So yeah, people have been designing away. It's a really, really, really good tool, if nothing else. I really love it. I still got to add a few more cards to finish out this cube. I have it mostly set. Let me look here. It's just Oops All Rune Blades. I think I'm at 312 cards, right? 331 cards. Actually, it's done then. Okay, never mind. Apparently I finished it and didn't remember. That's cool. Because this, and this all go in. 8 of each of these. So that's 32 that stay out. So 32 staying out puts it at 299. I actually need one more card, I think. My math might be wrong though. Any rate, either way, it'll be a blast because there are cards like Go Bananas in it, and Crazy Brew, and other ridiculous shit because reasons. And then the equipment suite, like, I need to pick up a Barkskin on the Millennium Tree and a Helm of the Arc Knight. I don't have either of those. But if you look at the list, you know, your head slots available to you are Crown of Seeds, because why not? Skullcap, Crown of Province, Null Rune Hood, Crown of Dichotomy, Face Purgatory, and Cap of Quick Thinking. And you Rochester draft equipment. So face up between packs 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, you Rochester draft equipment. So you better have your shit together.
I don't.
Nope, you sure don't. But yes, Cube is great. And Tyler's tool has been immensely valuable, has all the stats for your cube. I didn't figure out until way too late that it would have saved me a ton of time, that you have to add the heroes for the cube before it'll show you the stats for the heroes in the cube, which in hindsight, saying it out loud, I'm a fucking idiot. Oh well.
Reading the cube explains
the cube explains the cube. Second question, Silver Age. I've already bought KO because Brute Squad. What other 3 decks should I grab to build a format gauntlet? Okay. I would say Briar should be one. Briar's very good. Oldhim. Oldhim does get a lot of fun toys and can do a lot of icy shit that is obnoxious. And then something a little more well, I guess KO's kind of mid-rangey. But it's more to the aggressive end. I would do something kind of more mid-rangey.
I mean, I'm biased, but you know what I'm going to say, right?
An assassin, probably a huntsman, or no, solitary confinement.
Yep.
You'll take solitary.
But that's because I legit think that's good in that format.
No, solitary confinement makes sense. I think that solitary confinement in that format is very good. I mean, solitary confinement was actually fucking nuts in Commoner. I had so much fun playing that in Commoner.
Right.
Honorable mention to like Akatsu is very good if you just want something that is going to be, or Ira for that matter, if you want something that's going to be plotting and a little on the slower side to try to, like, you know, get that sort of even damage out. But yeah, I would say those. I've seen some really nasty Ozuri decks too, because while you don't get like the big splashy ones like Command and Conquer, you still get some real good ones like Death Touch. So it's not bad. And plenty of like of the bigger, like, just numbers cards. Plus you can play Pummel. Because Pummel's legal in that format for some reason.
Because it's the best card ever created.
We don't agree on that. I understand your thought process, but no, it's gonna have to be a no for me, dog. Next question's from El Dorte, and you have to take the reins on this one because I have no idea what you were thinking.
Okay.
Do you think you could prove you're from the future if you got sent back to the past, say the late 1800s, early 1900s? Now we're going to set some ground rules. You are being sent from a place where you are the most unprepared. So your phone would not be on you, like,
Sure.
and no like modern trappings. Go.
Yeah, no matter that's easy. I would find whoever could point me in the direction of any sort of research hospital, because microscopes were invented in the 1600s. They still had decent ones even by late 1800s. They were using like Zampmeyer ones during the Civil War. And all it takes is a microscope to see the microplastics in me, and I'll just be like, look at this shit.
Okay, so couple of things.
Tell me I'm wrong.
First, I was thinking, what would you produce to show the most amount of microplastics? And in my brain immediately thought that you would ejaculate onto a slide. And you do it in front of them.
Well, yeah, because I don't want them to think it's a bait and switch. Like, you got to respect the process.
Right. I would think that you would have an easier time than I would, just in general, because you could just show them your tattoos. And
yeah,
that those definitely aren't a thing that they could have done back then.
I mean, some of the ones on these arms are like
easier.
I say arms like I got two on this side,
you do,
like an idiot,
you do.
But, right? But like the detail on the new one, which of course is like not coming through very well, but
yeah, it's a lot more than they were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but I was just like going straight to the, hey, what would blow their mind? Fucking microplastics, man.
Microplastics would fuck them up severely, but that would like potentially prove you're closer to an alien. I guess you would be closer to an alien than a human at that point to them. But yeah, I think that,
but also just like, you know, antibodies, vaccines, all that stuff that's also in there that they just would not have seen before, right? Like a good blood workup would be really all it takes. I think we kind of take for granted all of the stuff that we put in our body, both beneficial and hazardous now compared to, 150 years ago or whatever.
Right. And there's not.
And if honestly, so X-rays were also, so depending on when, because they said late 1800s, early 1900s, right? So like X-rays were late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking more like early 1900s, then could also just be like X-rays of
the metal inside of me.
Yeah,
because there's a ton of it. So that fucked them up too. Or honestly, just like some things like the size of my feet. Because I would be completely crazy to them that I have size 14 feet. Those aren't real in 1885. Yeah, there's just so many things that sort of like point to that. If they looked into like, because optometrists existed already. And so they could look and see that my eyes have been operated on. And be like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, oh, it's a surgery where they go and they correct the lens of your eye with a laser. Like, what's a laser? And then I have to go from there. But
and then with me, it's similar. It's like, hey, these are my microplastics. Well, what are those? Why are they in your body? And then I laugh and I say, let me tell you about brain worms.
And the Secretary of Health. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are other ways to do it, but I
think that one works.
Like, modern, because I was operating under the same assumption, right? You don't get to take anything, other than you with you. So I was like, okay, well, I could attempt to do the knowledge thing, but then you have that whole, like, does me being there change the course, blah, blah, blah. So maybe it wouldn't work. But I was just like, microplastics, man, like whatever's in my body, there's enough in my body from the modern era that would prove that I was definitely not from around these parts.
Or just like if you had plastics on you at all, like period, because those aren't a thing, really, in the 1800s or late 1800s, late 1900s. Moving on from Quiet Mind 42, which hero should get a companion in the next expansion slot, and what would it be? That's a good question. Who historically
get a companion
like
in the expansion
similar
slot?
to Polycranka? Polycranka is a companion.
Right, but it was interesting they were calling out specifically in the expansion slot. So I guess they're just saying like not a new hero, but like who would you give?
Right, who would you give a companion to?
God, not that I want to give them any more allies, but like Gravy makes sense.
No.
Because he still doesn't have a weapon, right? So like you give him, if you're trying to go all in on the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, then like you give him the undead monkey.
Sure. Honestly, I think that if you had a brute, a companion, like Reinar had a companion that was a pet dinosaur, I don't fucking know, that you could use to discard a card to draw a card. You know, it's like a rummage, basically a rummaging dinosaur of some sort. That would be helpful. You had a moment.
I don't know about helpful. I don't even need it to do anything other than sit in the companion slot, but we need to give Victor his jockey.
Oh, right. He does need his jockey. So, yeah. Yeah. Victor definitely needs a rider for sure. But it probably wouldn't do anything. You're absolutely right. But
yeah.
Yeah, I think my answer is to give Barut something. Warrior doesn't make sense because it takes up a weapon slot, and no, unless it's a Dorinthia one. And even then, I don't think that it needs anything.
Here's the thing:
Bolton
do the
needs
companions? One. Is there anything that says that the companions have to take a weapon slot? Though
I just thought of that as we were talking, and I don't remember. It's an offhand, so I think so. Well, no. So Puffin. So Polycranker is a Puffin companion offhand ally.
Right. Everyone we've seen so far is an offhand ally, but nothing is saying it has to be.
We've only seen two.
Right. So, but hear me out, right? You could have hear me out. You could have a horse companion for legs for Victor, where he's just riding his horse.
No.
Because hear me out. Because Guardians don't wear feet anyway.
It's true. They don't. Well, they do now, but
kind of, but
allegedly.
So
theoretically, it could be you could have a companion that isn't perched, because perched is what puts it in.
Right, like instead of perched,
it just starts
it
in
could
play.
Say, right, like instead of perched, maybe we do get stuff that's in the leg slot and they're mounts, and it just says like mounted, and you're mounted on it until it does its thing. But the only reason that I like the idea of it not just being in like the offhand, or because you could also theoretically have something like a falconer, so it could be perched on maybe the arm slot as opposed to a thing if you're really trying to go the warrior route. I do think it'd be kind of cool to somehow give like Bolton a dog or something. Like Bolton just needs something. Right? Like
a dead wife. Oh, we had that already.
Yeah.
But something. Which leads us to our next question from Justin S. What does Warrior need to finally make one LL? You're actually not that far off with Kasai right now. She probably needs another, like, she's 1-0 for 4 away. Like, because if you think about it, the 0 for 4s that exist in warrior weapon-based warrior decks are Blade Flurry and Red Slice and Dice And that's pretty much the list. So you kind of need more of that. You need something else, even if it's I mean, it can be a front end 0 for 4, but obviously rather have it as a reaction 0 for 4. But a 0 for 4 that does something. Now, I will say that Dorinthia is far scarier now than she used to be, since she gets to play 6 jagged edge effects. But Kasai is still kind of stuck with just playing jagged edge. Since the blue, while it's not a Dorinthia spec, it references Dawn Blades.
Yeah.
So there's that. But so the Prism matchup is still problematic if you play somebody that knows what they're doing.
This might be kind of a hot take. I think the answer actually might be more axe support.
That was the other thing I was going to say, is the other end of it would be taking some of the things that they did for daggers and actually putting them in, like doing something similar for axes. Because the dagger support is very good. But like, if you had Savor Bloodshed for axes, or swords for that matter, like, you're well on your way to something real good.
I'll say this about Warriors. I think part of the reason that they continue to kind of just be in that middle ground, I always think of Warriors as the pinnacle of the fair decks, right? They are good enough, but never too good.
Yeah.
And I think that the reasoning for that is, with the exception of Bolton, who, like, yes, I know he's a warrior, but he just doesn't play like the other warriors at all, really. Warriors, for the most part, because they're weapon centric, also means that they have a very low floor. They're built around doing something that they can technically do every turn. They have a level of consistency that could be on par with a Syndra, right? Like, Syndra is also ultra consistent. And I'm kind of surprised we haven't necessarily.
They have worse numbers.
They just have worse numbers, and I think it's just because they have been reserved to over push it, because then it's like hard to rein in,
right?
Because it's so consistent.
Because the floor is so high.
Right. The floor is just incredibly high with Warriors, but also the thing with Syndra is, if you want to beat Syndra, again, we've talked about this, so you have to give up other matchups. But if you want to beat Syndra, like, Syndra is very beatable. And Syndra also doesn't have a fridge. Warriors have one of the best equipment suites in the game.
Or the best.
And if they also get to the point where they're putting up consistent, even close to Syndra numbers, then that's a problem. But then also, even if you play some sort of disruption game, they're also built to, like, they can block 2, send 2, block 3, send 1 even. They just, the weapon centric thing means that it's very hard for them to overtune them without it, like, just immediately being a problem. So I think that that's kind of why Warriors, in my mind, have always been the pinnacle of the fair deck.
So the thing that I was thinking of is the one that I came up with and then sort of just immediately said, no, we shouldn't do that, was to give Warrior effectively a Justinic. So +5, maybe +6 with an on hit to do something. But the second on hit would be that at the end, when the combat chain closes, destroy the weapon. So basically like a final blow type of thing. So that breaks your weapon. I thought that something like that might be helpful, but like, it's super swingy, and that's not what we're going for. Like,
I think that might be something that could work as like an Olympia specialization.
Right. Like, I was thinking of Olympia when I thought of it because of the re-equip.
Right. Because I'm thinking, he's already got, I say he technically all of them could do it, but I really think of him with the blade break weapon, right? Mm-hmm. So, and his ability to rearm himself. So that would make sense there. I could see that. It might not even be that bad in Olympia, just because the rest of his suite is
ass.
Again, so fair.
Yeah. So ass, actually. I think it's, but honestly, I think it's a 0 for 4 reaction is what is what it needs. Just something that is a little bit more that's harder to block. Last one's from Greg, our fapping producer, who thinks about Charmer naked on a wrecking ball. Do y'all have any concerns about the long-term health of Fab based on where we're at currently? No more than I've had in the last year, I guess. I would say Rosetta, roughly, is where I think that I turned the corner on thinking, where I preached for 2 years, 3 years almost, about how Flesh and Blood is on sale. This is the time. Get in here. This is as cheap as it's going to be. And I think about Rosetta is where I was basically like, guess what? Flesh and Blood's no longer on sale. Shit's going to be expensive. Not much else to say. I don't think I've had concerns about long-term health. I've had concerns about short-term retention. Right now you're getting a large influx of players. And like most things, you get a bunch of people who start, and I think in games specifically, you want to retain X percent. I don't know what that number is. I honestly don't.
It's probably like
6, 7. Yeah, I got you. You definitely have children of that age, so
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I do.
Yeah, I can't. People are fucking stupid. But back to, if I think about it, I think whatever that percentage is, it's a whether it's 6 or 7 or 6, 7. The right now we're having a harder time keeping them because they play the game, they like the game, they see the price tag, they buckle. And if they and right now we're in a period of higher than usual ban activity, which also makes them nervous. And explaining the Living Legend system at times is also something that scares them away. So I think we have a short-term retention problem where you have people that the Aurora problem, right? They came in, they said, you played as a First Strike deck, loved it, picked up the Armory deck, played with it, and no longer had a hero. All in the span of a couple months. That's really rough to keep somebody around. Now, they might come back when Aurora comes back. Who knows? You kind of have that same thing going right now where people bought into Gravy. Gravy's the best deck. The Armory deck has almost everything you want. I bought all this stuff for Gravy, and now, Gravy is no longer, the top tier. Right. It's not. I think that the solid advice for people still exists of buy the fucking generics. Like, get your Sinks, get your Tunic, get your Fates, get your E-Strikes. Eventually your Command and Conquers or whatever. Like, get the things that are going to allow you to keep playing the decks without having to just like shove a bunch of money, and make you more nimble for when things happen if you truly love the game. But that's a message that is unlike a lot of other games because of how hero centric and identity driven this game is. So yeah, long-term health, I think we're fine. I think that as time goes on and people are going to keep finding they're going to broaden from hero to like class or something along those lines. But as of right now, I don't have any long-term health concerns, but I do have concerns.
I don't have any concerns.
Great.
Like long-term health, at no point have I thought to myself, like, I worry whether Fab will make it.
Mm-mm.
Right?
I've never
there are
had that.
things that I think, well, so that's what I think of when I hear about concerns. Like, do I think there are things that could be improved upon? Yes, but that is always the case.
Right.
But also the list of things that we had last year, they've done some of them. And the things we had the year before that, they've done a lot of them. And the list we had from the year before that, they've probably done all of the ones that were on our list back then. And, again, I've said it a bunch of times, and I'll say it pretty much every time this conversation comes up. This is an original IP, not made by a big company, that launched during the pandemic and has seen steady growth and has had a fantastic, robust tournament scene and continues to take player feedback and an audience, criticisms to heart. And it continues to grow its player base, continues to just try, and at no point have I seen anything where I've thought like this might not make it. So as far as Fab goes, Flesh and Blood, I have zero concerns about the long-term health of Flesh and Blood. Now, does that mean that I have zero concerns about the game? No. Again, always something that can be improved upon. Does that mean that I see myself playing it, 5 years, 10 years from now? I don't know. Life takes you in weird spots. Right now, I'm enjoying the game. Maybe 5 years from now, I will be investing in ceiling fans. It's me, right? Like, who cares? But the point is like Flesh and Blood, it's not like, I don't want to throw other games under the bus, but it's not the sort of game that, tomorrow is going to set up a Kickstarter to like fund the next set.
So here's one I pulled up as a complaint. Think something to think about how far LSS has come, because I wanted to dig through this. Episode 32. So this is 173 weeks ago. For those of you counting, that's over 3 years ago. Episode was July 12th of 2022. And the dates for US Nats was announced that day, and US Nats was in September. We found out the location of US Nats in September, or if that was in September, in July. We found out that there was a battle hardened in Portland on August 12th. They announced that on July 12th. And then that's also when we found out when the first Worlds was, in November. So, 4 months of lead time. And we thought that 4 months was awesome. That's how far that they've come, because that's one of the things that the community really talked about was, hey, we need to know like when events are happening, because we want to come to them. And it took a while, because obviously, like, setting up events isn't easy. They had to bring somebody in, which is kind of funny because we were going to have a Trevor Baker, but not the Trevor Baker, as our guest today. But
also, all right, you piqued my interest, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna search our history of show notes,
280 pages of show notes.
for a couple of keywords. So currently I'm searching on the word concern, and I got this real beauty, because sometimes community concerns are a case of the monkey's paw curling. And this is a great example. This was back in episode 98.
Oh, so we are in the Charmer era at that point.
We are in the Charmer era, at least. Episode 98. The question at that time was, is LSS dialing back new heroes and sets too much at release? I get that they're very forward focused, but Vincent and Prism were big letdowns, and there's some community concern I've seen online about whether or not any of the Bright Lights heroes will actually be good. It seems like a really dangerous gamble to hype up the community for new heroes and then only get half the new hero up front before they slowly trickle in support cards for them. What are your thoughts? Well,
who asked that question?
That was Donnie K.
That was Donnie K. Okay.
So turns out, Vincent Prism at launch were a little underpowered.
Now
Prism was competitive, but a little underpowered.
It wasn't competitive until Angel's Glow.
Yeah. Bright Lights, again, we had a similar thing though. Dash.io had a couple of like glimmers. But the idea of like, are they dialing back the heroes too much just makes me giggle, because after that, it was every set after Bright Lights had at least one hero like go crazy, right? KO. Heavy hitters KO came out really fast out of the gate, and then
let's not talk about Miss Vale.
Yeah.
Rosetta for that matter. Or Hunted, or there's a lot. But yeah, I mean, this is stuff that we've talked about for, again, almost the entire run of this show, where there have been concerns, holes that need patched, or things they were just trying to fucking figure out, man. Like, this game just turned 6. It's still a goddamn, like, it's a first grader. It's not that seasoned yet. Like, it takes time. 1999 Magic was a shit show.
Episode 78 also had from Hopeful Dino.
Oh, so again, I missed the Dino.
So if you're new to the game and you're wondering about, like, has cost always been an issue? Back in episode 78, sorry. The question was, with the conversation popping up about cost of competitive fab, what is your input on the cost of staples? And if you see a problem, what is the step in the right direction that LSS isn't doing? Now, keep in mind, that was before we were getting reprints in expansion slots and everything else. So again, they're at least doing
still in the Charmer era, at least. Because Charmer era starts like 56. So yeah, man, like, yep. This is
here's pre-Charmer era, episode 21. As the game has sped up and the base power level of decks has gotten higher, it seems like game plans are becoming more linear and less interactive. Is this a potential problem or just a natural evolution?
Is that Sleeper Jackal?
No, that was Fighting Walloon.
Oh, it was the Walloon. I missed that. Yeah, the early fappers, man. I hope somewhere they're still fapping. But it's so fun. I'm glad that we've kept this as a living document, because fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I can just literally go, let's go to the tape and pull up some weird shit. The second question from Greg was also, which fab card would you consider your signature card, aka the card that gives Logan / Darick? Mine is either Booze or 10 foot tall and bulletproof, because I don't know, kind of don't give a fuck a lot of the time. Darick, what, I gotta know, what's yours? What's the card that gives the most Darick?
Well, so favorite card, every time I ask this question, it will always be, has always been the exact same answer. It's Pummel. And if we're talking about my gameplay style, then that gives the most to me. But if we're talking about things thematically, I would say Regicide. Yeah, because I'm either going to do the thing or I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, okay. Wait, you're not a king?
No, I either do the thing, aka kill the king,
or you're gonna you're gonna,
because you gotta be successful, or else you lose the game. Yeah.
There's a lot of good jokes around that. I'm not gonna say any of them right now, but there are a lot of good ones. Okay, I think it's time to get out of here. We actually turned nothing into an hour and 15 minutes somehow. But first, let's thank some patrons. We do have our associate producers, the permanent associate producer, Andy, Sindra, Anthony, Ejor, Jacob, Aladoris, Octo, Thorptopus, Sofsky, Heiner, and Sleep Coma. Then we have our executive producers on up. We have Blaze Storm, remember the Patreon, Diana the Green Cosplayer, John, our Possum supporters, and on up. These are people that will get playmats, which are actually going to be produced soon. Which reminds me, if you're on this list of people, Possum supporters and on up, and you're going to be at Worlds, please tell me so I can bring them. The Delusian data analyst, and then we have fucking Christ, the Charger Chamber of Charcoal, the absent Vintox, the fanatical Fanfaron, as he was supposed to be the guest tonight and is a technologically deficient. Matt, see you in Philly. The Jackal, we always love the Jackal. Brandon, probably see you in Philly as well. Zaris, definitely see you in Philly. El Dorte, September, October, November. So November 9th, I think, is when El Dorte becomes eligible. So that's in a week. And then our ceiling fan, the pinnacle of fat fandom, Polish guy Rich. If you are interested in becoming a patron, oh Christ, of Flesh and Pod, you can go to patreon.com/Flesh and Pod. Link is in the show notes. Pick a paid tier. We'll be doing After Dark on Thursday, which I believe is November 6th, if I'm not mistaken, where I'm going to try to learn OBS. It's probably going to be horrible. And there'll probably be a lot of cursing. I will also tell horrible jokes so that I can get them out of my system. If you need to contact the show, you can send us an email, fleshandpod@gmail.com. And yes, Iswardi, that's not a bit. That's a real fucking email address. For God's sakes. I shit you not. I needed something for Iswardi. And so I asked him, he's like, can I get your email address? I'm like, it's fleshandpod@gmail.com. I say it every fucking week. He's like, I thought it was a bit just like Charmer's handle on Discord. I'm like, really? All right.
Really?
Okay. But it's not a bit. That's actually my email address. Or the show's email address. Might as well be mine at this point. If you also need to find us on social media, you can find us on BlueSky. Just search Flesh and Pod. Charmer, where can they find you?
In the Discord.
That link's in the show notes.
If you want to ping me, I'm at IMJORMAN. You're welcome, Iswardi.
Yes, please ping I'm German, and if everybody could ping I'm German and just tell Charmer how handsome he is. He needs to hear that.
He does need to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much the show for this week. But yeah, join our Discord. It's free. Also, like, YouTube's really weird on trying to give things away. So we need to figure out a way to do the donations for the 24-hour live stream that'll be occurring the weekend after Worlds. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas, hit me up. Apparently, to use the YouTube giving features, you have to have 10,000 subscribers. Bro, we don't have 1,000. Mainly because people don't.
We're also just really bad at marketing.
Okay, yes, I'm very shit at marketing. I get it. Been saying that for 4 years. But yeah, that's our.
I said we.
Yeah, but we know who that was pointed at.
Me.
Sure. But that's our show for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back for 206 next week? Dear God. But until then, thank you for listening or watching or whatever you did, fapping, however you do it. Bye.